What's going on, y'all? So we got a lot to talk about in this video, and as you know, one of my favorite memes of all time here that almost have given me tears. I'm telling you, it is absolutely just too damn funny. Yeah, I'm gonna be reacting off of Frit. Right here it says The Last of Us, abysmal, low reviews, and hate blamed on gamers. It's an interesting video. I like his content. He's a funny guy. But let me get on camera now. Just had to give y'all something funny. I laughed at this so many times, I'm telling you, to where it was almost uncontrollable sometimes. Like my eyes were like dripping in tears. It was so funny, and the back of my head was hurting. I just could not stop laughing. It was that funny. Because that's kind of how we feel about the TV series, right? They've made a joke out of it, a meme out of it, right? With their ridiculous far left behavior. Neil Cuckman doesn't care about Last of Us like that. He's turning it into this and entertaining these sick-minded idiots. It's ridiculous, man. We got the show like right in front of us with the game re-releasing over and over again. People know what the game is like, right? But then, like, why do you change these scenes? Like, and he does that in his video, which I kind of like. So yeah, let's get ready to laugh and have a good time and make fun of Last of Us, right? Because that's what Sony's allowed it to be turned into now. All right, epic internet meme.
Guys and gals, Frittata here. Oh wait, that's not my name. Sorry, I have a bit of a fever. I'm a little delirious. Actually, that isn't even my intro. I think that's another YouTuber's intro. I forgot his name. I don't actually have intros. Anyways, reporting to you today. A bit under the weather, but that's okay. There's nothing a 40-ounce of Modelo can't cure. Well, Frit, you shouldn't be recording. Well, listen. After Dreamcast guy got that surgery to fix his teeth, nothing stopped him from hitting record anyway.
How do you like my new teeth, by the way? Hi. Okay, anyways. So, this came out while I was in surgery.
You think I'm gonna let a little flu?
If y'all never got that, that was my slurping, gesture for Dreamcast guy and all his slurping, slapping, and clickbaiting, and doing that for Sony and grifting everywhere else. Yeah.
Stop me? Hell no. Which is why you should subscribe. We are getting closer and closer every day to 100K. Hell, we're getting closer to 80K. Once we get to 100K and I receive that silver play button from YouTube, I will face reveal myself, unpacking it for all of you. Don't let my dreams be memes, but then again, all you guys know how to do is meme on me, so. And send hot soup and 7-Up. Feeling like shit. Okay, but not as as Naughty Dog fans are feeling right now. Hey, that's a pretty good transition for it. I know. It's been a rough one for Naughty Dog fans. Finally coming to accept that Naughty Dog is not this grand studio they once thought they were. And
What did he say? The most unserious show of all time. Man, like you should think about the seriousness and the groundedness of Last of Us, how epic and intense it was, right? You got to get impacted by the story, the relationship built up in part one, right? And Neil Druckmann wasn't controlling that. And then you see what they're doing with it now. It's like, why are you doing this? And you give people no hope of part three either, but you want to keep on reappearing with part two over and over and remastering it over and over. Ridiculous behavior, man.
and that it turns out The Last of Us may actually be overrated and your standards were just low in 2013. Sucks. I know. I get that feeling. It's like me thinking Skyrim was as great as it was, and then I play Oblivion, and I'm realizing I was wrong. Then the game got dethroned as the most awarded game in history by Elden Ring, a game that was much more deserving of it because it was actually a video game. And that got a lot of die-hard Naughty Dog fanboys to lose their collective minds. Because
you know what's so interesting too? Actually, you know what? I'll get back to that some other time.
while in their hearts they may feel The Last of Us 2 truly is the greatest story ever told in video games, when you look at reality and how it stacks up against other games like, hell, Metal Gear Solid 3, you know it's complete bullshit. The Last of Us appeals to normies, okay? It appeals to people who are easily impressed by graphics and cinematics. And that's the thing.
In some ways, he's right. The cinematic graphics rush, they'll speak off of that, but it doesn't last. But they'll hold on to that. And it is about that. That zoomed in camera, cinematic, third person rush, get in cover, had the little side character, build up that little bond. They tell you everything about every puzzle if you don't figure it out over time. They have a similar pattern that runs underneath every game that they code over with technology. It's not as impressive as you think if you would watch Nintendo developers or other developers make games. Not that these games are not good, but they don't push past the boundaries like they should. But they try to push past the boundaries of technology, where they should be doing that with other things that are more important in the video game industry, like gameplay, replay value. You know what I mean? Um, but they don't. It is literally like a narrative story movie rush, and then once you have that experience, it's like you've seen the movie. Do you want to see the movie again? Like, no, I want to play a video game.
Thing about The Last of Us 2, it failed at delivering a compelling story. When the
Yeah.
first season of The Last of Us was announced and aired, people were enthralled with it. They loved it almost as much as they loved the first game. But I, like many others, were warning people, just wait till season 2. When it gets to The Last of Us 2 storyline, just wait. Shit is about to get really cringe and really bad. And they said, no, just you wait. When The Last of Us season 2 comes out, people will truly and finally see how great that story is, with no bias and no gamer incels. And what happened? It airs and everybody is laughing their asses off. Now, part of that is due to the fact that, Bella Ramsey looks like a potato with googly eyes glued on, so her facial expressions don't translate.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of them, y'all. I love it. I've already laughed so much at them. And then we got this here, what I said on May 10th, 2025, 4 days ago. Doesn't she look closer and more like an Ellie, like somebody who's like, look at the look on her eyes and everything, like just the way that she just has her tone and appearance there. She looks like she could fit Ellie, that more seriousness. Ellie's not that fucking goof potato ball look, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with her outside of that role, but it's for Ellie, it's like, dude, she's lost everything, torn to pieces inside, loses joy. Like, no, man, that look to me is way better as an Ellie character compared to, um, I mean, I'm sorry, but you get like, look at the difference here. Yeah, I've laughed at this so many times, it's not even funny. But you guys get what I'm saying, though, right? Like, she fits it way more. And I said this, you know what I mean? Like I said, and this was like in the 5:40 in the morning, right here as you see, May 10th, 2025. So yeah, I'm just like, what are we doing here? Yeah, it's obvious what you're doing here. This is on purpose.
Very well sometimes, and she makes certain scenes look like a complete joke, because imagine the last thing you see before you die is some chick with fetal alcohol syndrome pointing a gun at you with the most unserious, unintimidating face you've ever seen. And I actually
The most unserious show of all time, May 8th, 3 million views, 43,000 likes. Like, we're not saying this because we're trying to hate on Last of Us Sony. As a matter of fact, I have the platinum on Last of Us 2. I have 100% on all PlayStation titles. So when I speak from full experience, not just watching. But you can watch sometimes too and figure it out, but pretty obviously you don't necessarily have to have the experience, but it does help though. But the thing is that like when you just see the majority of people doing this, it's just like, damn, this show has been turned into a meme. That's not good. It's funny to laugh at, but realistically, soulfully, for game development quality, it's not good. It's laughing stock. That's failure. That's lowered viewership, everything. And now it's being turned like this. See what politics does to gaming? Anywhere it goes, it's no good.
feel bad for Bella Ramsey because she is a good actress. I've seen some of her other roles. She fits them well, but she did not have what it takes to be Ellie. She didn't look a goddamn thing like her, doesn't act like her, doesn't emote like her, isn't built like her. As a matter of fact, instead, the actress they chose for Abby, instead of looking like a giant man ghoul thing, looks more like Ellie in the video games.
Okay, I didn't see this far. That's interesting. Yeah, so he thinks that too. That's actually pretty cool. Good.
I have no idea what the director was thinking with these choices, but they were poorly made. There is no denying that. I mean, anybody out here who tries to actually legitimately defend Bella Ramsey as the choice is out of their minds. At that point, you are fanboying and you are just trying to defend this product. When you see Ellie on screen, you'll know it's Ellie. When you see Bella Ramsey on screen, you feel you can point to where Africa is on the globe of her head. Let's also not forget the fact that, in the first season, she's supposed to be a kid. In the second season, she looks exactly the same and we're supposed to pretend she's an adult. We have a full-on sex scene of her finger blasting Dina, and that's not supposed to make us uncomfortable. At this point, The Last of Us title is referring to the fans left of this franchise. I mean,
Yes.
You guys are here for one thing and one thing alone, right? The infamous scene that's been making the rounds everywhere on the internet. The inclusion of extra dialogue that wasn't in the original scene in the game. And that is Dina's announcing of her pregnancy. Keep in mind, the TV show has things in it that Neil Druckmann wished he could have included in the game. So, when you watch the live-action version, you are seeing just how delusional and sick in the mind Neil Druckmann really is. But
Yeah, he's Jewing you with his synagogue, deluded, cult bullshit.
in order to really show you this, I'm going to have to use a comparison between the video game cutscene and the TV show cutscene, and your jaw is gonna drop.
I think I'm pregnant. What? Don't worry, it's not yours. What are we supposed to do now? Nothing. I just need to rest for a second. Are you fucking kidding? How long have you known? It was late a few weeks ago. A few weeks? We could have still turned back. I didn't know. I wasn't sure, okay? I didn't want to be a burden.
Well, you're a burden now, aren't you? Okay, that's good. Here. 2 lines means pregnant. This one's pretty old. And here. And here's a couple more. So, we're having a baby. I mean, we and also, I guess, Jesse here. It was Jesse, right? So we're all having a baby. Holy shit. I'm gonna be a dad.
Yo! Saying I'm gonna be a dad while the actual father of that child is still alive, that is wicked shit, man. Whoever wrote
Feminist witchcraft.
that line absolutely hates men. There's no other way about it. This is progressive writing at its pinnacle. And yes, I'm saying pinnacle because there is no such thing as good progressive writing. When it's at its best is at its worst. Because it's entertaining to us, but it's also a pimple on the ass of good storytelling. There's no way about it. They objectively made this scene worse than it was in the game. I still think the storyline of Dina getting knocked up by whatever that other character's name is that gets his head shot.
Are you talking about Jesse?
And then dumping him and having Ellie be the quote-unquote dad, that is some Gen Z writing if I've ever seen it. Remember, we're living during a day and age where people don't believe mothers and fathers and men and women should be things. So the end results is writing like this, where 2 lesbians will take the child of a man and raise it as their own and pretend it's all normal and okay. But at the very least, they were trying to convey it in a serious tone in the game. And the TV show counterpart, however, you can't tell if it's supposed to be a sitcom or serious drama. Like the only
That's what I was saying. Is the sitcom literally gave me that feeling, like it's the unseriousness of coming from something with a serious tone and pulling you in where you felt immersed. And now it's like, what are you doing, bro? Why you hitting me with a Barney character? Like, damn.
missing is laughter from audience. Hell, I'll edit some in right now just to show you. What kind of fucking writing is this? What's this whole, so we're all having a baby, bitch? You didn't contribute to knocking that bitch up. That's not even your child. The way she doesn't even want to count the man in. Again, the people who wrote this hate men. They love our seed. They love that it reproduces, but they hate us. I mean, that's the implication that's given off with this type of cornball writing. How else are people supposed to take it? Oh, it's adorable. That's sweet. No, it's not. It's deranged. Not only that, but, you know, she's with Ellie for what, about a year and a half, and she's already accepting and saying yes to raising another man's child? So they're gonna have an Asian baby, and the Asian baby's gonna wonder why its quote-unquote dad looks like Sloth from the Goonies. In the game, Ellie is actually more concerned because a pregnant lady's tagging along with her in the middle of a conflict, which is actually pretty reasonable. And she doesn't exactly seem all too excited about the pregnancy. In the TV show, she's already calling herself a dad and saying she's gonna raise the thing. And then Dina hands her pregnancy tests. It's like,
Yeah, it's disrespectful to the original story. Like it's literally, to me, it's like, yeah, it's the worst type of brainwashing. The type of shit you see on Dragon Age. You know what I mean? Where it's like, damn, yeah, that's a big problem. Now we're not doing video games anymore. We're doing this garbage.
come on.
Pushing cold
What
agendas.
were they thinking? But, you know, the creators were just so proud of this scene. I mean, they really thought this scene was excellent and was Oscar worthy. So much so, they posted it on Twitter on their official account, showing how proud they were of this scene. And everybody in the replies is trashing them. Even the most progressive folks you can think of are trashing this scene because it's ass. Because not only did you upset, you know, original The Last of Us fans, not only did you upset the anti-woke crew, you also upset the LGBT community, who apparently found this to be lesbophobic because Naughty Dog wouldn't address the two as moms, instead of addressing one as a mom and one as a dad. So they couldn't please anybody but Neil Druckmann, because you know this scene pleased Neil Druckmann. He went home and he fucking beat his meat to this shit. But it doesn't matter how much you point out the obvious. You still had a huge section of journalists getting upset that people were quote-unquote disrespecting this writing, when in reality all we're doing is criticizing how horrendous it is. And now they're crying that the show's being review bombed by incels and bigots and every pejorative under the.
It's the same thing when you had that one chick trying to do the Star Wars show. They always make these excuses when it's like, you had your chance to get on the stage. You fucked up. If your acting was so good, the audience is going to be with it. No, you're trying to play these little games again, and once again trying to play the victim and stick these little labels on people. But it's empty and meaningless. The damage that you've done, the damage you knew you were going to do before you even launched all of this and put the show on there, you knew what you were doing. You knew the story. You made it. You were there with it. No, this is all done on purpose, and you know you're doing damage to the show. You turned it into a joke, and there's people that loved and cared about this series, and you don't care. So yeah, that's all those little stupid labels. Like, it's never going to work on me, because that just means that you don't know how to have a conversation. You're just throwing that out and then dancing around it. Not going to work on me.
Son, The Last of Us Season 2 is now being review bombed because of course it is.
Oh my dear God. Are you one of those single tear people? Do I look like a double fucking rainbow to you?
What did they even mean by because of course it is?
Yeah, I that's a stupid post.
Don't you love how this game is the magnum opus to gaming journalists, but to the rest of the gaming community, it's overrated or downright trash. I love how the defense that these guys always come to is, oh, it was a joke. Ellie was making a joke. Okay, but why is she making a joke when the original scene was supposed to be serious in tone?
Yeah.
That defense just doesn't work. They butchered the scene. Whether you want to accept it or not, this made the scene objectively worse. Oh.
Yeah, that's why I say that this is not an opinion. It's literally realizing what they're actually doing here in reality. What he's saying is literally a fact. That's exactly what they're doing. They're not staying true to the series. They're making a damn joke out of it. And they're wanting to interject their politics and get paid and do it. And they don't care what you think. Until they just don't have any more support and realize they're going to have to do something. But with all the funding they get, shit. But we get the idea here, right? This is what Sony is supposed to be doing with the greatest game of all time and greatest franchise, right? Why do you do this to it? It makes you wonder. It's because what I see is somebody that really actually hates gaming and hates gamers and hates males. Because it's an attack on the gaming principle again, which is a masculine industry built off of masculine males. You see? Over there in Japan and over here in American society, Europe society as well, and anybody else that joined in. But this is a good community for all of humanity. People that want to hate on it, it just says a lot about them. Nobody has time for these type of losers. That's why you slam them, expose them, make a show out of them, and never stop. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Let me know what y'all think about this. And remember, I'm a Last of Us fan too. I loved part one. The part two really pissed me off. I said I got the 100% on it, did everything, beat it on the hardest difficulty, all of that, but I still was not happy uh, with it. I wanted it to be remedied somehow in part three, but they just keep on making things worse. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Later, y'all.